Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salam, ala rasulillah, wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'een. Amma ba'd. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Father Khalid. We apologize for last night. We had some technical difficulties. And alhamdulillah, we uploaded the audio for last night's live stream class. We also apologize for not having the questions or the ability to offer the service of answering some of the questions last night. Last night was our last class from that book and of that series of the rulings of Al-Hajj and Umrah. Al-Hajj and Al-Umrah. The last thing that we mentioned last night from Risalatun fil Fiqh al-Muyassar of Sheikh Sadlan rahimahullah was Al-Mawaqit. Al-Mawaqit. Tayyib, we explained that. As far as the other topics of Hajj, Fatawa, Fawaid, things like this, we'll continue to post them by Allah's permission. But the actual book, wa alaikum assalam, in the series, that's done. We finished that last night. So now we're going to discuss again, another year, walillahi alhamd, the rulings of al-Adaahi. Obviously being the plural of Udhiyah. The rulings of al-Udhiyah. We're reading from Subul as-Salam, the chapter from Bulugh al-Maram. We're going to read on Adaahi, the sharh of al-San'ani rahimahullah ta'ala. Al-Hafidh ibn Hajar rahimahullah ta'ala says, Babul Adaahi. Al-Adaahi jam'u udhiyah بضم الهمزة ويجوز كسرها ويجوز حذف الهمزة فتفتح الضاد كأنها اشتقت من اسم الوقت الذي شرع ذبحها فيه وبها سمي اليوم يوم الأضحى. He says the word Adaahi is the plural of the word Udhiyah. Udhiyah. And Udhiyah is going to have a dhamma on the hamza. Udhiyah. Short sound. And a sukoon on the dad, obviously. And it's also okay to say idhiyah with a kasra under the hamza. Idhiyah. Tayyib. And it's also possible and permissible for the hamza to be removed. And then a fatha vowel sound will be on the dad. So one will say dahiyya. Dahiyya. One will say what? Dahiyya. Tayyib. So this is a fa'idah with regards to the Arabic language. Those of us studying the Arabic language want to get stronger, hands where, etc. Here it says, and it is derived, it's originally taken from the time in which the animals were offered. And that is what? وَالشَّمْسِ وَضُحَاهَا وَالضُّحَى. Everyone understands? Duha, Salat al-Duha. Early in the morning, after sunrise, 15 to 20 minutes, you make that prayer. So this is the time in which the Arabs, they used to slaughter and offer these animals. Whether it's for Allah and others, or for other than Allah, waliyadu billah. This is their practice. So this goes to show you the depth of the Arabic language. And how they'll call something based off of the time. Or they'll call something based off of what it leads to. What it leads to. Or they'll call something based off of what's surrounding it. Everyone understand this? Like the word, for example, akramakum Allah, may Allah bless you. It's just an example. The word al-gha'it, which you would translate today as waste or stool or feces, excrement. But the actual organic word gha'it, al-makan al-munkhafid min al-ard, is a low place in the earth, a low valley, a basin, or whatever you call it. And it has nothing to do with filth or excrement at all. That's what the word linguistically means. But because that's where people would go to relieve themselves, to be away from the people, to be shy, to be hidden. They actually call the actual thing itself. Any act what? Itself. Everyone understand this? To show you the depth and the richness of the Arabic language. And this is used Islamically as well. Such as the narration that says, Al-Rakibu shaytan, wal-Rakibani shaytanan, wa-thalathatu rakbun. the narration that says that one traveler by himself is a shaitan, a devil. 2 travelers are 2 devils. And 3 travelers together is an actual pack, a caravan, a squad. That's okay. Preferred number to travel with. Some of the ulama, they explain this hadith to say that it doesn't mean that one person traveling by himself is a devil. He could be a Muslim, a believer, someone pious. He has to travel by himself. But they say that the shaitan can come to and incite and whisper to one person faster than 3. 2 people faster than 3. So the traveler is given the name shaitan based off of what it will end up in. I'm saying how deep the language is. So that's what the word Adaahi means. It does not mean sacrificial animal. Udhiyah does not mean sacrificial animal, but it's the time. And because the people sacrifice these animals during this time, that's where the word comes from, Yawm al-Adha, Eid al-Adha, because it's prayed during that time. Clear on this or not? Khairan inshallah. The first hadith of the chapter, the author Hafidh ibn Hajar rahimahullah, he says, عن أنس بن مالك رضي الله عنه أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم كان يضحي بكبشين أقرنين ويسمي ويكبر ويضع رجله على سفاحهما وفي لفظ ذبحهما بيده وفي لفظ سمينين ولأبي عوانة في صحيحه ثمينين بالمثلثة بدل السين وفي لفظ لمسلم ويقول بسم الله والله أكبر. The translation says, please, we can give the faida as well. It's been a while since we made a sharh of Bulugh al-Maram. Keep that one. I'll take the rose color one. I like that. The pink and the purple is better.
433.
What page number do you have?
433.
Page 4. It's different here. Yeah, it's still different. Don't worry, I have it. طيب. طيب. Says here in the 2nd chapter, the sacrifices. Narrated Anas, and it's on page 477 in this version. Hadith number 1160. It says, narrated Anas bin Malik radiyallahu anhu, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to sacrifice 2 two-horned rams. Mention Allah's name and say Allah is most great, and place his foot on their sides. A version that said he slaughtered them with his own hands, agreed upon. And another version, 2 fat rams. Abu Awana has in his Sahih Thameenain, with a tha instead of a sin, meaning precious. A version by Muslim has, and he said, in the name of Allah, and Allah is most great. And Allah is most great. It then says, the next narration afterwards, وله من حديث عائشة رضي الله عنها أمر بكبش أقرن يطأ في سواد ويبرك في سواد وينظر في سواد فأتي به ليضحي به فقال لها يا عائشة هلمي المدية ثم قال اشحذيها بحجر ففعلت ثم أخذها وأخذه فأضجعه ثم ذبحه ثم قال بسم الله اللهم تقبل من محمد وآل محمد ومن أمة محمد ثم ضحى به. Narration after that says, Muslim has reported from the hadith of Aisha. So as if this is another hadith now, it should be another number. different discrepancies with regards to the numbering of the book, Ibn Hajar, etc. It is a different hadith. It's not Anas' hadith anymore. It says, Muslim has reported from Aisha radiallahu anha that he ordered a horned ram with black legs, black belly, and black around the eyes. And it was brought for him to sacrifice. And he said to Aisha, Aisha, get the knife. Then she said, sharpen it. Or then he said, sharpen it with a stone. When she had done so, he took it. Then taking it, he placed it on the ground and slaughtered it. He then said, in the name of Allah, O Allah, accept it from Muhammad's family, and from Muhammad's ummah. Then he sacrificed it. Now we have a few issues here with the translation before we get into the fiqh of the hadith. A few issues here. First issue is, it says that the Prophet ﷺ used to sacrifice two horned rams. It's total unnecessary English. What is a two-horned ram? Is there such thing as a one-horned ram? Are we talking about a unicorn? A rhinoceros? Huh? Most animals, 9 out of 10 animals that have a horn or horns, 9 out of 10 have what? It's a pair of them, with exceptions to a few animals, such as a rhino, a mythical animal, a unicorn, all of them, that's even a true thing, a swordfish. But most animals in the animal kingdom, insects, creatures, they have what? It's well known too. No one take a screenshot of me putting horns up on my head, Tayyib, inshallah. Barakallah feekum, Allah bless you all. Many brothers, they do things like this, unfortunately. Those who have an extra amount of time on their hand, Al-Muhim, most animals, they have what? 2 horns, let alone rams. So what's the point of saying a 2-horned ram? That's unnecessary English. And further, what? Complication. Secondly, in English, when the word ram is used, what does that mean? It means an adult what? Goat or sheep? We went through this 2 years ago, Khalid. A ram is a what? Al-Muhim, my limited knowledge, that a ram is an adult sheep, a male sheep, not used for a goat. Everybody clear on this? Now, we know that we went through this before, Khalid. Alhamdulillah, it's a good thing that we can say this. The discrepancies of a goat, a sheep, a ewe, a buck, a this or that, billy goat, etc. It's a long discussion with regards to the species, right? And this is important as well. And after last week's khutbah, I was doing some more research and also some more review on the concept of what type of ram or sheep is being mentioned in the hadith. In the khutbah translation, we said sheep. Kabshani, Amlahaini, Aqranain. But in actuality, the proper translation for Kabsh Aqran isn't a sheep, it's a ram. And that is a male sheep, that is an adult. And obviously it has horns, and not 1 horn, but what? 2. So that's the issue with the translation here. 2 horned rams. A ram, once you use that word, it automatically means what? That it has what? No, at least it's what? It's horned, for sure. Then it has what? 2. So there's no point saying 2 horned rams. Just say 2 what? 2 rams. Tayyib. Move forward. So these 2 hadiths, they show us and they teach us. As-Sanani rahimahullah ta'ala, he says, فيه دليل على أنه يستحب إضجاع الضحية من الغنم ولا تذبح قائمة ولا باركة لأنه أرفق بها وعليه أجمع المسلمون ويكون الإضجاع على جانبها الأيسر لأنه أيسر للذابح في أخذ السكين باليمنى وامساك رأسها باليسار وفيه أنه يستحب الدعاء بقبول الأضحية وغيرها من الأعمال وقد قال الخليل والذبيح عليهم السلام عند إمارة البيت ربنا تقبل منا. He says these hadiths prove the following things. Number 1, it proves that it's recommended and not obligatory, but recommended to place the animal on its side, on its flank. Sheep and goats should not be slaughtered standing, like other animals, such as a camel. Nor should they be slaughtered kneeling. He says rather they should be placed upon their sides, because that's more gentle. It's more comfortable and easier for the animal. And this is something upon which the Muslims have unanimously agreed upon, that it's recommended to do that. Some slaughterhouses you go to, the sheep is laying on his back, tied up. Or sometimes what? They hang the sheep. No, we've seen this. We've seen this, How do we do it? When we did it, we placed it on his side. Tayyib. He says, and the animal should be placed on its left side, because it's easier for the one who's slaughtering to grab the knife with his right hand and grab the horn with his left or her left. The dhabih, a woman can slaughter as well, as long as she's strong enough. Tayyib, everybody clear on this or not? Now, what about if someone is left-handed, southpaw, right? Is the rule in the opposite? Is it permissible for a person to slaughter with his left hand? Or does it have to be with the right hand? It has to be with the right hand. What do you say, Khalid? You ever thought about this? Has to be done with the right hand. Tayyib, khairan inshallah. So that's the first point from the hadith. Point number 2. He says this hadith also shows that it's recommended to make dua, to ask Allah to accept your sacrifice. This hadith also proves that it's recommended to ask Allah to accept your sacrifice and other virtuous, righteous deeds as well. A perfect example of this from the Quran al-Kareem is that of, he says, Al-Khalil, the intimate friend of Ar-Rahman. Al-Dhabih, يعني al-Madhbuh. Fa'il bima'na maf'ul. The one who was sacrificed or supposed to be sacrificed, Ismail alayhi salatu wasalam. When they said, while they were constructing and erecting the Kaaba, it says, Rabbana taqabbal minna. Oh Allah, our Lord, what? Please accept from us. Are we clear on this? So that's a general principle. Now, let's step away for a second. It's permissible and it's recommended to ask Allah to accept your deeds from you. But does that mean that you have to, or you should say each and every single time, may Allah accept, may Allah accept? Before you make the takbir, you say, may Allah accept your prayers. You make the taslim, may Allah accept your prayers. Does that mean that? Is there a specific dua that you have to make each and every time? Should you raise your hands? Do you have to say it together? Now all of these things are now creeping into the realm of what? Mukhalafa. Mukhalafa. And mukhalafa is a cousin of bid'ah. It's a cousin of what? Bid'ah. They're not brothers, they're not twins, but it's one step away. So, is it permissible to raise your hands after you make the taslim, wipe your face, do this, shake your brother's hands? Many people say it's bid'ah, it's haram. There's proof in the Quran and Sunnah that a person should shake his brother's hand when he meets him, when he embraces him. There's proof in the Quran and the Sunnah that a Muslim should make an abundance of what? Dua. And there are some narrations which some of the ulama of Islam hold to be authentic regarding wiping the face after dua. Once more, there are narrations that some of the ulama of Islam, of the Sunnah, believe are sahih with regards to wiping the face after dua. It's a difference of opinion, but there are some. So one who wipes his face after the dua, who shakes his brother's hand after the taslim, you can't necessarily come out and say it's what? Bid'ah, as most people would do. Because there's a what? A proof for that. He did it once. Tayyib. The best thing to do when you make salam, make the taslim, is other things. But then he did it a second time. So you say, hadi fi mukhalafa. That's not the sunnah to do that. It's not necessarily haram, but that's not the what? It's not the sunnah. The Prophet ﷺ, he would say this. The Prophet ﷺ instructed us to make dua in the salah, at the end of the tashahhud. Everyone understand this? But the Muslim, he does it each and every time now. Every single salah. The first thing he does, and everyone does it together. And he teaches someone else to do it. And he thinks that it's a virtue in it, and it's a special reward in doing it. Now, that mukhalafah has turned into a what now? Bid'ah. And there are hundreds of other issues like this. And this is very important for us to understand from both sides of the argument, the argument, both sides. Those who say that everything's a bid'ah, and those who don't do what the Prophet ﷺ did. He didn't do it in this instance. Why can't you just do what the Prophet did? What's the quickest way between 2 points? Is a what? Straight line. This is what Muhammad did. Do that. Yakfi. That's more than enough. And Muhammad is a good example. Allah says in the Quran. But it doesn't mean that a brother can't do it from time to time occasionally. But now you keep doing it. And now this act takes the place of the normal practice, of the normal sunnah. And it dominates and monopolizes the time and effort and energy in the janazah and the hajj and the fasting and the taraweeh. Now there's a problem. Everyone understand this? As we said before, there are principles for what is a bid'ah. It's not some haphazard thing that some ignorant fool can just come and say, that's bid'ah. La. Nor is it some haphazard thing in which another ignorant fool can come and say, it's sunnah, it's permissible to do it. Using some vague general proof, let alone something that's da'if, let alone something that does not exist in the Quran and Sunnah. Man yuridillahu bihi khayran, yufaqihu fi din. When Allah wants good for the servant, he does what? Fiqh in the deen, right in the middle. Not this, nor what? Nor that. Everyone understand this? So, it's recommended to make dua at the time of performing these righteous acts, but it doesn't mean that it's something that has a specific statement, a specific wording, and you do it over and over again, each and every single time in the same way, as many Muslims do. Overseas, you go in some countries, after they make salah, they say what? Taqabballah. Each and every single salah. Am I making this up? Taqabballah, taqabballah. Very first thing. Is it permissible to say that, to ask Allah to accept someone's prayer? That's a beautiful thing. And some brothers are unnecessarily harsh and extreme and overboard, and they lack the knowledge. And they say, that's bid'ah, you can't say the haram. A'udhu billah. This person is barely praying. He's trying to be a good Muslim. He's trying to come to the masjid. And then this person, he comes and just slashes them to 1,000 pieces. So the next time he sees someone with a full beard, he doesn't want to say anything to someone with a full beard or a high thobe, because they're all hasty, rude, extreme, they're ignorant, they have no respect. I'm just trying to be a normal, good Muslim. What is my sin? This is the country in which I was raised. This is the best thing I know how to do. I'm trying to pray. There are people not praying, people smoking, people drinking, people with graves. And this man is coming to the masjid to pray. And then you come and say, bid'ah, don't say taqabballah. It's messed up. And this is a reality that I'm not exaggerating and happens on a daily basis here in New York. Pushing someone away. And the Prophet ﷺ, he said to his own companions who were not immature, who weren't hasty, and who had a great deal of knowledge. He said to them, Inna minkum lamunafirin. He says, from among you are those who do what? Push people away. He said that to the what? So what about, somebody today, unfortunately. Bashira wala tunafira. He says, give glad tidings, encourage, and don't what? Don't run the people away. And you can give someone glad tidings even through teaching them when what they're doing is wrong. So that's one side of the extreme. Another side of the extreme is the one who wants to keep saying it each and every single time. Taqabbalallah. Pray as if this is your last prayer. Over and over again. Something's what? Something's wrong now. Everybody understand this or not? There's a balance. So these are the points that As-San'ani rahimahullah ta'ala mentions regarding this first hadith. Obviously, and I'm going to say, this hadith, the hadith of Anas and the hadith of Aisha, radhiyallahu anha, they prove that it's from the religion of al-Islam to offer sacrifice, to offer the sacrifice. Fihi shar'iyyatu al-Adaahi. Is that it's legitimate and legal to offer animals for sacrifice. Because one says, what's the proof? There are proofs in the Quran, but if you quote a proof from the hadith, this is what? The proof that the Prophet used to do it. And no one can come along and say, you can't kill an animal. What's meant by this is killing your ego. Killing your ego. Killing the shaitan in yourself. Slaughtering your desires. That's what's meant. It doesn't mean taking an animal's life, brother. Everyone understand this? And we live in a time in which there are people who say things like this about Islam. Hijab is what? In the heart. That's the true hijab, brother. Your beard doesn't make you more righteous than me. The true sunnah is where? Is in the heart. This hadith proves that the Prophet what? Physically what? Did it. An ego doesn't have horns. An ego doesn't have a color. An ego isn't sameen, fat. An ego isn't thameen, expensive or costly. An ego is not placed down upon its side. This is literal, physical. And it does not mean that Eid al-Adha is for something spiritual, metaphysical. La, physical slaughter of an animal and taking of someone's life, of an animal's life. Everybody clear this or not? That's what these hadiths prove. Khairan inshaAllah ta'ala. As far as some of the issues of this hadith, As-Sanani rahimahullah ta'ala, he says, وَقَدْ أَخْرَجُ ابْنُ مَاجَةَ أنه صلى الله عليه وسلم قال إن التضحية وتوجيهها القبلة وجهت وجهي إلى وأنا أول المسلمين اللهم تقبل من محمد وآله ودل قول آل محمد في لفظ عن محمد وآل محمد أنه تجب التضحية عن الرجل وعنه وعن أهل بيته ويشركهم في ذوابها ودل أنه يصح نيابة المكلف عن غيره في فعل الطاعات وإن لم يكن من الغير أمر ولا وصية فيصح أن يجعل ثواب عمله لغيره من صلاة كانت وغيرها وقد تقدم ذلك في الجنائز ويدل له ما أخرجه الدارقطني من حديث جابر أن رجلا قال يا رسول الله أنه كان لي أبوان أبرهما في حال حياتهما فكيف لي ببرهما بعد موتهما قال صلى الله عليه وسلم إن من البر بعد البر أن تصلي لهما مع صلاتك وأن تصوم لهما مع صيامك. طيب. As-Sanani rahimahullah ta'ala, he says, and now these are some issues we're going to go back. These are some issues in the hadith of Aisha. We're going to go back to the hadith of Anas for a bit. He says here, Al-Kabshu huwa al-Thaniyu idha kharajat ruba'iyatu. Al-Kabsh in the Arabic language pertains to a specific age of the animal. And as we will explain, sheep and goat have to be thaniya. Has to be of a certain age. Thani, we have a thani, we have a jada, we have musinna. The animal has to be of a certain age. Cows, camels, goat, and sheep. So a kabsh is an animal that has a specific age. He says here, wal-amlah al-abyad al-khalis. As far as the word amlah, what color was the ram? He says that the word amlah is pure white, snow white, cocaine white, totally white, khalis. Everybody clear on this? That's one interpretation of the word amlah. Similar to a what that you use on your table spread? Salt, unless it's Himalayan salt, pink salt. But in most cases, people use what? Sea salt, iodized salt is going to be what? Pure white. Everybody clear on this or not? So that's one interpretation, that the rams were what? All white. وَقِيلْ هُوَ الَّذِي يُخَالِطُ بَيَاضَهُ شَيْءٌ مِّن سَوَادٍ. And others, they say it is the ram that is mixed with black, like we mentioned on Friday. Calico, Oreo, mixed up. A little black here, another what? A little white there. The third interpretation, وَقِيلَ الَّذِي يُخَالِطُ بَيَاضَهُ حُمْرَةٌ. The third is that sheep, that ram that's white mixed with red. And what's meant by red here in Arabic is a dark, orangey, auburn type of color. A burnt type of color. The Arabs, they have different usages of colors. And it always doesn't just mean the equivalent in English. There's no red ram. There's no red camel. That's not what's meant by red camel. It's a specific usage of the word humra na'am. And in most cases, based on what we've seen overseas, the red camel is an orange, I said orangey type of camel, auburn type of color. Everyone understand this? And the same applies in English. They have different terms, blonde, right? Platinum, strawberry, blonde. Everyone understand this? The different types of green. I want teal, Kelly, forest green, turquoise, etc. But those are all in one shade. We're talking about something that you have a specific usage of a word. And it's not actually like this one or like that one. Everyone understand this? Everybody clear on this or not? So that's what's meant by humra na'am. someone that's red. طيب. The fourth interpretation, وَقِيلَ هُوَ الَّذِي فِيهِ بَيَاضٌ وَالسَّوَادٌ وَالْبَيَاضُ أَكْثَرُ. The fourth interpretation is that it's the ram that has white and black, but the white is dominant. The white is what? Dominant. وَالْأَقْرَنُ هُوَ الَّذِي لَهُ قَرْنَانِ. And al-aqran is the ram that has what? 2 horns. No need to put it in English. 2 two-horn rams. طيب. So that's with regards to the color of the ram. Now you may say, what's the importance of this? Why? Who cares what the color is? What's the big deal? This is going to pertain to another issue, another fiqh ruling, which is what's the best animal to offer? What's the what? The best animal to offer. What's the prime? I have an option to get one that's all black, one that's all white, one that's orange, round, or a red, auburn type color, one that's gray, different types of goat and sheep. What's the best one? What's the closest to the sunnah? Or the question is, Akhi Muhammad, did the Prophet ﷺ even make an intention to get a specific color? Or was that the animal that was available at the time? Everybody clear on this or not? Now we previously explained the rulings of an udhiyah, so we're going to take our time a little more with this year round. We're going to get into a bit more details, a few more details than what we previously did, because we already covered the basic ABCs. If you want the summarized version, you can go back to that playlist. Now I'm Khalid. طيب. So that's with regards to the interpretation of the word amlah. He then says, وَاسْتَحَبَّ الْعُلَمَاءُ تَضْحِيَةَ بِالْأَقْرَنِ لِهَذَا الْحَدِيثِ وَأَجَازُوهُ بِالْأَجَمِّ الَّذِي لَا قَرْنَ لَهُ أَصْلًا وَاخْتَلَفُوا فِي مَكْسُورِ الْقَرْنِ فَأَجَازُهُ الْجُمْهُورُ وعند الهدوية لا يجزئ إذا كان القرن الذاهب مما تحله الحياة. He says, based off of this hadith, the scholars of Islam, they hold the view that it's recommended, not just permissible, but recommended to offer a ram. It's best to offer the animal that has horns. And they also say that it's valid to offer one that doesn't have rams, that doesn't have horns. It's a sheep, a ewe, an adult what? Female sheep. Obviously, when we start talking about goats, it's a bit different now. Can a female goat have horns? No? What you say? Huh? Can a female goat have horns? Or is just a male? We need to brush up on this. طيب. Khairan inshallah. Moving forward, and you guys let me know when it's time for the adhan inshallah. He says, وَاخْتَلَفُوا فِي مَكْسُورِ الْقَرْنِ. And then another issue, a branch, the ulama they differ on the animal who has a broken horn. The horn is broken. Can you offer it or not? Is it no good for udhiyah? He says here that most of the ulama hold the view that it can be sacrificed. It can be what? Offered. And there are others who say that it can't be offered if the horn has nerves in it, blood in it. It's a part of the actual animal. It feels pain, and it's a defect in the animal. Clear on this? You may have a part of your body or other animals in which something is broken off or torn off. It doesn't hurt. There's no blood. There's no nerve in it. Clear on this? That's not the same as something that's actually what? A part of it. Everybody understand this? Moving forward. وَاتَّفَقُوا عَلَى اسْتِحْبَابِ الْأَمْلَحِ. He then says, and the ulama of Islam, they agree unanimously that it's best to offer the ram, the sheep, / that is amlah. What is amlah? Based off of those what? Interpretations. If you look at the different animals at the farm or at the slaughterhouse, or you do a Google image search in English or in Arabic, you'll find many, many different pictures. Some of the ulama, as we just said, they say it's the ram that's mixed with black and white. Some of them, they say it's the ram or the sheep that has either a white body or a gray body or a bone white type of body, a beige body, and its whole head, its legs and its belly, underbelly is what? All black. Some may say no. It's the sheep or the ram that has a white body with the brown head. Different types, different species. Everybody clear this or not? So this is an example of how implementing the sunnah is going to be based off of actual what? Interpretation. Everybody clear on this? Implementing the sunnah is going to be based off of what? Interpreting and understanding it. And there are many other issues like this, in which he's trying to implement the sunnah, and he's also what? Trying to implement the sunnah. But they're different. What does the word mean? What does the hadith tell us? Make fajr early, it doesn't mean make fajr what? Later. Am I clear on this or not? Moving forward. قال النووي إن أفضلها عند أصحابه البيضاء ثم الصفراء ثم الغبراء وهي التي لا يصفو بياضها ثم البلقاء وهي التي بعضها أسود وبعضها أبيض ثم السوداء. وأما حديث عائشة رضي الله عنها يطأ في سواد ويبرك في سواد وينظر في سواد فمعناه أن قوائمه وبطنه وما حول عينيه أسود. An-Nawawi then says, Imam Nawawi or Hafidh Nawawi, he says that the best ram, the best sheep is the one that's white, bayda. Then after that he says safra, the one that's beige, yellowish. He then says al-ghabra, which is similar to the previous one, but maybe one color is darker. He says la yasfu bayadaha, it's not pure white, as we said, there are different types of white, bone white, etc. He says after that is the animal that's mixed, black and white. And then it's the sheep or the goat that's all black. As far as the narration of Aisha radiallahu anha, the rams that the Prophet slaughtered and he ordered to be brought, or they were brought forth to him, it says yata'u fi sawad, it walked upon black. Wa yabruku fi sawad, and it kneeled down upon black. Wa yanzuru fi sawad, and it looked through black, meaning that its limbs, hind and forelegs, and that which was around his eyes was covered in black. So that narration shows, and Allah knows best, that it's not necessarily the animal that is all one color, nor is it necessarily the animal that has the brown head, based off of that narration. But in actuality, the rest of the body is either going to be white, it's either going to be a tannish brown, a beigeish yellow, and those parts of his body is going to be what? Black. Either all black or at least spotted. Like a calico cat, like we said. You ever had a calico cat? There's an orange eye patch, black part here, orange part there. طيب. قلت الصنعاني رحمه الله تعالى, he says, إذا كانت الأفضلية في اللون مستندة إلى ما ضحى به صلى الله عليه وسلم فالظاهر أنه لم يتطلب لونا معينا حتى يحكم بأنه الأفضل، بل ضحى بما اتفق له صلى الله عليه وسلم وتيسر حصوله فلا يدل على أفضلية لون من الألوان. As-Sanani, he says, his view and his opinion, if we're basing the preference of the color of the animal off of what the Prophet ﷺ did, then that which is clear is that there's no one color that's better than another. Rather, it seems that the Prophet ﷺ offered the animal that was brought to him. He slaughtered whatever animal he had the ability to slaughter. Black, white, brown, auburn, spotted. Everybody clear on this? He says that's apparent. That's the dhar. That's what seems to be. And it doesn't prove that one color is better than another. So he's saying here, if this is where we're getting this from, meaning that those scholars may be getting the preference of a color from another source. Another what? Another source. What's the best color to be slaughtered? Everybody clear on this? The Quran, the story of Musa, the cow, safra, faqi'u lawnuha, white, light, black, dark, sihr, jinn, etc. They could be getting this table from what? Other sources. Everybody clear on this? If they're getting it from the other sources, then that's a different issue. What's correct, what's incorrect. But if they're trying to take this from what the Prophet did, his view is that the Prophet ﷺ didn't what? Select the color. That's his view, is that he slaughtered the animal that was what? Brought to him. Now that's the view of Imam al-Sanani rahimahullah. Others may say no. The hadith says kana, he used to. And he commanded and ordered for this animal to be brought forth. And there was a preference and a style and a system of choosing and selecting the color and the variation of the animal. Umar, are you paying attention? Others, they may say this. As if the Prophet himself, what? Bring me that one. And if that's the case, then that's a different discussion. Are we clear on this or not? Khairan, inshallah. I believe we've run out of time for tonight. Perhaps we'll take a few questions bidhnillahi ta'ala after the salah. Once more, our last disclaimer. Again, we explained the rulings of al-Udhiyah and slaughtering and hunting in brief, simple, a few years back. This time we're going to take what? Our time on going to greater depth. Once we cover a subject, we finish a book, the next level is going to be what? It's going to be more. 5th grade math isn't like what? 4th grade math. It's not supposed to be. Allah alam what it's like now. وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على عبده ورسوله نبينا وإمامنا محمد.